The time has really come. I said I would do this one day, but I didn't think I'd have to reveal myself this soon. Though, I did promise that I would do a face reveal for 10K. So, I think it's time you all know the truth. I am Burb. Seed!
Well, hello everyone, it's me, Zane. So today is officially the 4-year anniversary of the first upload on this channel. And while we're now, admittedly, 3,000 subs above the 10,000 mark and a year late, I think now is as good a time as any to do a proper special video for 10,000 subscribers. And hey, we'll tie in the 4-year anniversary or something like that. So, some of you may not know, but I've taken great care to never show my face. And I promised somewhere around 1,000 subscribers that I would do a face reveal at 10,000 if we ever hit the mark. Well, let's get this over with. Huh? Oh, sorry. I always take extra precautions. Now, let's get this over with. Oh, wow, I'll be honest, I wasn't expecting this. But you know what they say, a bit is only ever as funny as the third time you do it. Anyway, here we go. Huh, not so bad. You know, I was getting really worried that, no. Anyway, now that we got the hard part out of the way, it's time for the easy part. Firstly, just want to thank everyone who subscribed, watched the videos, left a like, left a comment, joined the Discord server. Link to the Discord server in the description, by the way. It's a great place, you should check it out. And just been super supportive overall. If you told me 4 years ago when I was about to upload that first video that I would have 13,000 subscribers in 4 years' time, I would have thought you were insane. I mean, I've been on this platform making content for almost 8 years now, and when I found Undertale and QnA, I was about to give up on it completely. Like, I had always hoped for some sort of success on here. Not millions of subscribers or anything, I just wanted to make things I liked and entertain people doing it. So, now we're at over 13,000 subscribers and still growing despite my lack of consistent uploads. Sorry about that, by the way. So I really felt like I've managed a lot here, and you guys certainly managed a lot with this too, because I put in the work to get here, but you guys are the reason I put in that work, the reason I was able to make it here. And for that, I can't even begin to thank you all enough. I do have some news later in the video that you should stick around for, involving the future of the channel. But for now, let's move on to the main event. I'm holding a Q&A. All right, everyone, and welcome to the Q&A segment of the video. I recently put out an @ on my Discord server for questions as well as community posts on the channel. So all of these questions are coming from fans, just like you. Okay, so the first question we have is from Lottie on Discord, and the question is, what is your favorite type of turtle? I can tell this is gonna be a great video. I can just sense it. The answer is the red-eared slider turtle, by the way, if you were curious. All right, the next question is from Azera on Discord. She asks, what do you feel most proud of? And this was in reference to story, voice acting, editing, and so on. Now, I can interpret this question two ways, so I'll answer both. Firstly, I'll interpret it as what video I'm most proud of based on all the categories that were listed. For that one, it would definitely be Dating Start, which I put out for Valentine's Day earlier this year. The sound design was my best by far. I was really happy with the voice work, and the comic was amazing. Tons of love went into the dub, and I think it really shows through in the final product. Now, I could also interpret this question as what I'm most proud of in each individual category. For this, my current favorite voice job I've done that's been released already is my performance as Sans in episode 127 of Phoenix Prime's Handplates dub. It's definitely the most real of my performances. In that video, every aspect of what Sans said and did was something I felt on a really deep level, and I think all of that kind of showed through in my delivery. Of course, my favorite sound design video, I've already stated, But I'll mention that Their Wings on Vade's channel, which I edited and sounded, is my favorite outside project in terms of sound design. And I've not done any writing for any of my public projects nor anyone else's, but I'd be up for reading some of the script I've been working on if you'd all like me to. Mayo Jalelo on Discord asks, what is your favorite character to voice? And that's actually kind of a complicated question, a little bit. In terms of my favorite character due to the ease of voicing them, it'd definitely be Sans, and that's because the voice I do for him is just so ingrained in my existence by this point that when I do streams, the chat on my streams likes to point out when I accidentally slip into character or slip into the voice. Of course, the character I find the most fun to voice is definitely Gaster. In fact, I'm currently voicing Gaster for a project that hasn't been released yet. I'm super happy with the performance I did for it. Unfortunately, his voice is difficult for me to hold because I don't do it very often. And then Asgore and Flowey are also very fun to voice. Next question, Yamoaru on YouTube asks, do you plan on doing various live novel readings, like reading the continuation of For the Greater Good by Sapphire Rose on Archive of Our Own? And do I plan to do any collabs in readings with Mr. Amazing? Both are great questions. When it comes to reading the work of others, I think I'm going to be avoiding that for reasons I'll get into later. But I might do some readings of my own work. As for working with Mr. Amazing, I've worked with him before. He's awesome and we're good friends. Personally, it's up to him though. I don't really seek out collabs very often, and most of the ones I have just kind of fallen into my lap. I'd be up for it though, but I'm already in several of his projects and he's in a few of mine. So, you know, if you just want us to work together more, let us know. From Void Potato on Discord, what's your favorite species of grass? Scotch grass. I'm blind as a bat. So the way it grows, you know, nice and long, makes it easy for me to see from a distance. It helps me keep my lines straight. And I actually think that when kept well, it looks pretty decent, even if most others see it as a nuisance. And you thought I wasn't going to answer that seriously. Light Fighter from Discord asks, what's your favorite type of potato and what is your favorite form for them to take? Well, that would be the Yukon Golden Potato. That one's my favorite, especially if it's pan-fried. They're small, but they have a rich and savory flavor, and they brown very well. I could eat those things all day. As for my favorite form for them to take, I'd say fries are the obvious given. I'm American after all, it only makes sense that I'd love fries. From British Biscuits with Tea or War Lizard on Discord, what's the favorite story of yours that you've done VA for? Well, I've answered some of my favorite projects already, but my favorite story that I've done voice work on is Mr. Amazing's dub of Bad Time Trio. It was a fun project and had a very cool story, and while we don't know if there will be more comic to dub, I'm always up to return when there is. Another question from Void, what is my tragic anime backstory that led to the creation of EnderKingDubs? It all started when the casting director clan attacked my rural village in Japan. They wiped out everyone, killed my parents right in front of me. From that day forward, I promised to become a god of many hats, all the hats, and take my revenge by taking all their germs with my unceasing ability to do literally everything. In all seriousness, though, I've always liked creating things, even if my vast inferiority made me hide that fact. I've been on YouTube since late 2012, and over the years, I came out of my creative shell and started making things. Definitely my biggest mistake ever, because now I can't stop and be a normal person who makes money, but I shall continue to sacrifice myself on the altar of good entertainment. Does anyone know where my knife is? Calibri on Discord asks, what is your favorite anime? Well, it's either between Beastars or Parasite. Mind you, Parasite with a Y, not the movie which has an I in the title. It's close, because Beastars has great world building and characters, and just everything feels really solid and grounded. But Izumi's struggle in Parasite with his emotions later into the series really hit home for me, so it's kind of a draw in my book. Azera from Discord again, asking, what is your moral alignment? Well, I actually took a quiz earlier, and it says I'm true neutral. I honestly don't know what I was expecting. I didn't think I'd get true neutral, but it makes all the sense in the world that I did. Just kind of puts everything in perspective, really. For our final normal question, from Lightfighter on Discord, we have, what is my dream job? A year or two ago, I probably would have answered voice actor, professional sound designer, or even YouTuber. But now I think my answer would probably to be a showrunner on my own animated series. Animation is definitely difficult, and so is being a showrunner, but I'd finally have the chance to put my writing skills to use and make something new, make something that's mine, and to entertain as many people as possible, you know? Anyway, now it's time for the lightning round. Alright, first question in the lightning round. Question from Professor Gallifrey on Twitter asking butterscotch or cinnamon? For me, butterscotch personally. Cinnamon isn't to my taste very often. I do like it occasionally, but not my thing really. Question from Lilith on Discord. My favorite type of bird. That would be the northern red cardinal. Since I moved to North Carolina, I've seen them around quite a bit in the spring, and they're absolutely beautiful birds. Question from Mayo Jalelo again. What YouTube genre would I do outside of comic dubs? That would be animation or gaming, actually, for me, for various different reasons that I could get into later if you wanted me to. Question from Susie on Discord. Did I ever end up picking up any hobbies like sewing or cooking? I actually have learned to cook pretty well now, but that's more because I do a lot of cooking for my family now, rather than out of a hobby or anything. Question from Floof on Discord. What are some of my inspirations? Well, in terms of comic dubs, I was inspired initially by Pushatech Productions, Super Shadic, Anya the Peasant or Undertale Peasant, Nameless Dubs, Vade, and unfortunately, even though I dislike them now, Starbuck Dubs. Alright, so I got one last question that I said I would be bringing up earlier, and that question was from Mateo Johnson on YouTube. And they asked, what are your plans for the channel in the future? They asked this in the context of the fact that I've been pretty quiet about what's been going on behind the scenes, and I haven't uploaded a proper dub in a while. So, I'll warn you now, this next bit is going to get a bit heavy, so stick with me if you can. Alright, so as you all know, I've been doing this for 4 years now, as of today, with my first comic dub having been uploaded on September 1st, back in 2016. And I've grown a ton, and I've learned so much, and I've met so many people, but I've basically been doing the same thing for 4 years now. Now, this wouldn't have been an issue if it weren't for the fact that I like to overwork myself. I work myself to the bone constantly with a lot of this stuff, and because of that, I started feeling a massive burnout after the high that was 2017. In 2018, I just kind of puttered out in terms of drive. I kept going, trying to keep pushing through, but the more I pushed through, the worse it got. I would say I was going to take a break here or there would be halts in uploads, and to you all, it would look as if I wasn't working. But even when I said I was taking a break, I rarely stopped working. I was always working on something, and the very few times I managed to stop and do literally nothing, and they made everything worse, I just couldn't relax because I felt guilty about relaxing. It just kind of consumed me, and it all culminated in a massive depressive spiral which started in January that brought me lower than I've ever been before, scarily low. Thankfully, I managed to turn it around back in July, and I've been the best I've been since 2017, and while I'm not sure how I fixed it, I think just stopping everything and doing nothing properly for a few months was what I really needed. I had an ultimatum of either stop and relax, or keep pushing and hurt yourself. So, yeah, there's that. And then I also realized that comic dubs haven't really stimulated me creatively for a while now either, even though I've kept improving. Basically, I've just realized I don't want to do comic dubs anymore. Now, this apprehension could have just been the remains of the burnout talking, and I could have returned to it eventually, but then something happened, and comic dubbing died. Now, I'm being a bit hyperbolic. What this means is essentially artists and a mob surrounding them on Tumblr and Twitter have decided that comic dubbers are a problem for them, and are either stopping people from dubbing their comics, stopping people from monetizing the work they've done in any way, or straight up digitally crucifying any comic dubbers they have an issue with. Now, I don't want to talk much more about the situation here, as it's complicated. I totally understand why what's happening is happening. The artists have a right to be angry with some of these people they're targeting, and my post will go into more detail, but I've seen good people get absolutely destroyed, or at least hurt by this situation. I haven't been attacked or targeted, but the intrinsic issue with making content based on other people's intellectual property is that there is a certain big risk factor to it. I don't have any beef at all with any of the artists whose comics I've dubbed in the past, but I don't want to take risks with this kind of stuff in the future, you know? I could argue that my work is fair use because of how transformative these comic dubs are for me personally, but I don't want to have to argue that or seem like I'm disrespecting any artists by doing that, so I'm officially walking away from comic dubs. It's not stable, it's not safe. The only reasonable way to do it from here on out isn't sustainable for me, and it's just not something I personally want to do. Now, I still want to work on Undersource, as I promised that, and I'm still a fan of the comic, and I'd love to do Fallen Flowers if I can, since I'm absolutely in love with the world and the story and the art style, but for now, I'm switching focus. And I should say now that I'm not walking away from Undertale. After all these years, I still absolutely adore Undertale and have so much more to do with this story and this world. So in short, I want to start doing audio dramas, animatics, and animations all based on scripts and storyboards that I make, utilizing voice acting, my sound design skills, and what little artistic talent I can muster. Of course, the downside of this is it's likely the upload schedule will become even more sporadic. I can't do all this by myself either, so if you're a background artist, or character artist, or animator, and you want to work on some projects with me, contact me. Anyway, I would first like to thank everyone who sent questions. It's absolutely amazing to have gotten so many to answer. Next, I want to thank everyone who has supported me, whether you joined yesterday or you joined since the beginning. It's meant so much to me. I haven't always appreciated where I am with this whole thing, but I'll say it now. I seriously can't understate how lucky I am. And with that, I think that's everything I have to say. So, thank you for 10,000 subscribers, thank you for sticking around, thank you for watching, and goodbye.